I do not support corruption.
To the Avenue, welcome forward all loyal viewers and subscribers. Today on the Avenue we'll be looking at Colinbell and Ralston Hyman explaining the state of Jamaican economy at the moment. Bless up yourself, Colinbell and Portland Spice TV. Yes, my people, you can chat over to Colinbell channel and get the full interview. So my people, let's get into it and hear what Ralston Hyman got to say on Colinbell. And in the meantime, my people, leave your thoughts and views in the comment section below and let us have that discussion. And if you are new here, welcome to the Avenue. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Yes, let's get into it.
Welcome again to Portland Spice TV. We have the teacher on the line. Ralston, morning.
Morning, Colin. Morning to your listeners. Yeah, man.
Walk on, my brother.
Yeah, man. We're there, man.
What was the week?
Well, exciting. A whole lot of things happen.
Ralston, the Bank of Jamaica said that they spent $1.1 billion last year trying to shore up the Jamaican dollar.
Yeah, man.
$1.1 billion.
Yeah, the previous year it was 879 million.
So, the strong economy that is fit, why the Bank of Jamaica have to be spending so much to defend the dollar?
Because the economy is not strong and not earning enough foreign exchange.
So the economy is not fit?
No, the economy is sick. Right now, the amount of money that we spent to buy food and consumer goods for the first 11 months of last year was more than all the money that we earned from our exports.
So all the money that all the goods and services that we exported.
Goods from the good side.
Sorry.
Goods. All the merchandise goods that we sold. Could not pay for the food that we bought. Yes.
Agriculture, produce, manufacturers,
right.
all of
mining,
all of that what we send out.
Yeah.
The money where we get back couldn't buy the food.
No, we'd have to put 150 million on it to buy the food that we had.
To buy food. So we never sell enough to feed the family.
Right.
Ralston,
so you can't tell the family that you're fit when you do that.
What it is that this government is seeing, Ralston, that you are not seeing. Because a lot of us, including myself, depend on you for the figures and for accurate analysis on the Jamaican economy. Lot of us. Right now, we have over 300 people watching the show. Right. And I know most of them come here, especially when they hear that you are going to be on. And I know in a little while we're going to have maybe an next 300 joining us. When they know that you are on, they come on to get the information. What it is that the government knows or they are seeing that you are not seeing?
Well, they don't know anything. What they know is just about politics. They are misinterpreting the numbers and they rely on the fully doneness of the people because they know that the people are not going to look for the numbers. And the so-called analysts that they have, they know that those people are going to mislead the people. People like Dennis Chung, people like Christian Stoke, people like Damian King. Yeah, they know that those people are going to mislead the people. And we're in return.
So, after spending $1.1 billion to defend the Jamaican dollar, have we seen the gains as it relates to the Jamaican dollar that you would have expected spending that amount of money?
No, because we're trying to keep it from 160 and we're at 157 and change yesterday evening.
So, we spent $1 billion. When the year started, where was the Jamaican dollar? When 2024 started?
Right at 157. We went to as low as 160.
So we spent $1.1 billion.
Yeah.
To keep the dollar.
That is like 175 billion Jamaican dollars.
To keep the dollar where it is.
Yeah, man. And not only that, apart from the intervention with the foreign exchange, remember the Bank of Jamaica also mops up liquidity. In other words, money that is in the system that should be used for production is mopped up and locked up in the vault, and then we pay 6.25% per annum to keep it locked up in the vault. So it's a heavy cost.
Why is the government of Jamaica, Ralston, borrowing money at 11.25% interest?
Well, because they want to lock it up in a low interest. You notice that they do that for 20 years. So they want to keep that locked up so that they borrow cheaply for 20 years. That is the interest rates move that they have no risk.
But isn't that a high interest rate?
Well, you know, in the current environment, it could be regarded as low for 20 years because
for 20
you don't know
years.
where the rates are going because the Fed is now on hold. Donald is inflating the American economy. So we could see more increases in international interest rates.
Oh, so and that 11% won't pay until 20 years' time.
Yeah, man.
But interest rate could also go down too.
Well, based on what we have to do the forecasting, based on the forecasting what we are seeing with what Donald is doing, we expect the interest rates to remain high.
Okay.
Yeah, man.
Okay.
Yeah, man.
So that's not such a bad thing then.
No.
What
11% for 20 years is not a bad thing.
11%.
But it tells you what the Prime Minister is saying about the country that borrowing is lying. So it makes sure I lock up money from now.
But I heard the Prime Minister in a speech sometime last year was criticizing the PGA Partisan administration under Omar Davis that they used to float government paper and that wasn't really investing, that was lazy investment. Isn't the same thing that has been done now?
But that's what the BOJ is doing now. Every week it's more aggressive now than then. Every single week the BOJ is in the market floating fixed rate CDs at 6.25% per annum in order to maintain exchange rate stability.
Sometimes 2 times a week.
Yeah, man. So it's a two-pronged tool the BOJ use. One, them use intervention with the reserves, which costs us 175 billion. And they have been mopping up billions and billions in liquidity. Yeah. At 6.25% per annum. All of those instruments are oversubscribed. So when them say them want 40 billion, them get all 60 billion. When them say them want 25 billion, them get 40 billion because the business community, the confidence that the business community is showing is to give the BOJ the money to lock up in the vault and get 6.25% per annum for doing nothing.
But hold on. A poll was done recently that says business confidence is high.
Rubbish.
If business confidence is so high, why are people not investing in new business instead of buying government
That's the point
paper?
I'm making. If business confidence was high, those instruments that the BOJ putting out will be undersubscribed rather than oversubscribed. What the business people are doing is confident enough to lock up their money in the vault for the BOJ and get 6.25% per annum. That's where the confidence is. There's no confidence in opening new businesses and growing the economy.
Because there's no risk with buying government paper. Would you agree?
No.
And there's no uncertainty.
No.
So you buy government
you
paper.
get 6.25% per annum to have your money locked up for a year. You're good, man. You know about to run business, man.
You just go and live. You just go and eat the interest, and your money and your money safe.
Yeah, man.
Ralston, let's go to this argument of the recession because we are in a recession.
Yeah, man.
The government is saying that business confidence is high, unemployment is low at its lowest ever, so we're not in a recession.
Yeah, we're saying that is nonsense. Business confidence can be high if business people are pumping all their money and locking it up in the vault over the BOJ and giving the BOJ more than it needs to lock up in the vault. That's not confidence. That's a lack of confidence. When you have business confidence, you have a whole lot of firms opening up and employing new people and all of that. So there's no confidence there. So that is the biggest indicator that cannot be contradicted in terms of the lack of business confidence because they rather their money to be locked up in the vault over BOJ.
What about the low unemployment?
All right, we could look at it. In an economy, when you have low unemployment, the economy is supposed to be booming. In other words, output is supposed to be increasing. You can't have output declining at the same time while you have so many people employed. In economics, we call that diminishing marginal productivity. It means that the people are not adding any value. As you look at the labor force number, we have 230,000 people wiping car glasses and selling on the streets. That's not adding value to the economy. We have 265,000 people working in wholesale and retail, selling goods imported from China. We have 201,000 people on 5 acres of land on the hillside, so them doing farming with machetes and hoes and all of those things. Those things are not adding value. GDP is a value-added measure. You have to be adding value to the economy. The definition of GDP is total market value of all final goods and services produced within the country. So you can add imported goods as value-added. The only imported goods you add as value-added is imported raw materials
that is
and
used for
intermediate
manufacture.
inputs.
Yeah.
Imported finished goods is not a part of your GDP, and all we're doing is imported finished goods from China and the USA.
Now, we talk about the low unemployment and we talk about the business confidence. You say business confidence is not high. Hence,
Yeah,
people
we're
are
saying
buying
the labor
government
force is not
paper.
adding any value to the economy.
The labor force. We talked to Dr. Andre Orton last week, Saturday. And he explained to us that if you don't add value, then basically what we have is overemployment in some sectors.
Of course, because GDP is a value-added measure. Man wear white car glass now add no value to the economy. Man wear sell 2 fruits on the road and 2 rag on the road and 2 briefs on the road now add no value, because all those briefs and them things, and we make them, we import them. The people who are selling them Mr. Chin wholesale, them now add no value because Chinese goods them are sell and a minimum wage them I get. So that now add no value to the Jamaican economy. That add value to the Chinese economy.
What percentage of the Jamaican economy is technologically based?
Very little.
Not,
so that is what we need to do now, invest more in research and development and new technologies if we get the economy moving.
Is
so
it
that we can develop new industries.
Is it that it's not measured in Jamaica what percentage of our economy is not technologically based?
Yeah, them not measure that. But the majority of the economy, particularly the rail sector, which is about 30% of the economy, and some aspects of the services sector, are not technologically driven.
And hence, in this new technological age, we are lagging behind.
Yeah, man, by far.
No, you spoke about, and let me just set up the people in the chat room. I'm seeing some of the questions, but the chat room sometimes moves a little bit fast. So I'm missing some of your questions. But if you want to call me on 804-7072, I can take your question. Call me straight. Yeah? Because a lot of vloggers come over on a Saturday morning, Ralston, to get pieces from this program to put on their pages. And we want to make it clear, because what we are doing is educating the public. Ralston, talk to me about the 12 sectors that grows the job that we use to grow the Jamaica economy. List them.
Manufacturing.
Yes.
Manufacturing, agriculture, mining. Those are the real sectors. Then we have tourism, we call it hotels and restaurants, transport, storage and communication, real estate and renting, which include BPO, banking and financial and insurance services, producers of government services. Those are the big sectors. Wholesale and retail is the biggest sector in the economy. You realize that? The buying and selling sector, the wholesale and retail sector are the biggest sector of the economy.
In the Jamaican economy.
Biggest sector in the Jamaican economy. That's about 19% of GDP. Agriculture is 8% of GDP. Manufacturing is 10% of GDP. Construction is 10% of GDP. Banking and finance, 8% of GDP.
Quarry and mining.
Real estate and renting, 8% of GDP.
Quarry and mining is what?
Huh?
Quarry and mining, what percent?
Mining and quarry is only 2.8% of GDP.
All right, so I ask you that question, Ralston, to ask you this. We had negative growth in the third and the fourth quarter of last year. What was the growth of those sector in those 2 quarters?
Only one sector grew. The banking and insurance services grew by 1%. 1%.
So
everything else declined. Agriculture declined by 12% in the fourth quarter and 13.5% in the third quarter.
So when the government says that we are not in a recession because unemployment is low and business confidence is high, and people listen, the business confidence that the government is saying high, that come from a poll. That was a snapshot in time and depend on who you ask that question. So that wasn't even scientific. So we're putting the business confidence aside. But they are saying unemployment. When they say that, You look at
Total nonsense.
You look at the contraction of the economy, 3.5% in the third quarter, and the PIOJ says
1.8% in the fourth quarter. Total nonsense.
Ralston, at the end of the third quarter, the PIOJ did come out and say we declined by 2.5%, right? And Statin came out and said it's 3.5, don't?
Yeah, because Statin is the official agency that goes out and measures these things. The PIOJ, Wayne Henry, just run some model. And the Planning Institute has no business. Hold on, this is a very important point. The Planning Institute has no business in pronouncing on a recession. That's the work of Statin. The work of the Planning Institute is to tell the government how to fix the problems in the country, not to be giving us GDP data. Since nigelclark came, the Planning Institute has been competing with Statin, and they treat the Planning Institute better than Statin because Wayne Henry always tell them what they want to hear.
And Statin has not released their figure for the last quarter yet.
No, we get it on the 31st of this month.
On the 31st of March?
Yeah, man.
Why so long?
Well, that's another thing because then they give Statin the resources that it needs. So Statin give the GDP for one quarter at the end of the other quarter. You have to rather than upgrade Statin, they make PIOJ compete with Statin. So by the time Statin bring out his thing, people forgot and around the PIOJ set. nigelclark set up that.
So
when Norman Manley formed the Planning Institute of Jamaica, it was named the Central Planning Institute, headed by Don Mills in 1955. Its job is to plan how much school to build, how much this to that, how much that to that. Conduct the study upon the bauxite, the alumina sector. Although Wayne Henry can conduct that study. All them do, I put out GDP numbers before starting, and them just run some model. Them don't go out and measure nothing.
All right. Statin is also responsible to do the census. Is that right?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
But the census that was supposed to be done when? When was the census?
Census was supposed to be done last year. nigelclark never give them enough money. They wanted $4 billion. They never get the $4 billion.
So without a complete census, what effect would that have on government projections and government plans?
It means that you don't know how to plan properly. Simple, because the census is a planning tool that is conducted every 10 years. After 10 years gone, and 12 years, I will still can't get the census completed.
Whose fault is it why the census has not been completed?
nigelclark.
nigelclark is no longer here, Ralston. Whose fault it is?
Well, it was his fault. Favor just take over. So, I mean, you can't blame C for that. You have to blame the man who will leave it.
So what happened to the Prime Minister? Blameless?
Yeah, well, Prime Minister, the ultimate boss. Yeah.
And are we hearing anything that they are going to get the census done?
We're not hearing anything. Statin does not even have a director general at this point in time. So Ms. Carr retired a couple months ago, and them still hasn't named a director general for Statin. So Statin is leaderless right now. Not to show the lack of importance that they place on the agency, although it is the country's premier data collections agency under the 1984 Statistics Amendment Act.
The Trump becoming president of America, Ralston Hyman, and with all the plans, the tariffs that he's going to implement and all of the things them where him say more do to China, to Canada, to Mexico, will those have an effect on Jamaica?
Well, an effect on the whole world, because what it does is raise the prices level in the world, keep interest rates higher in the world, reduce investments in the world, and slow down international GDP growth. America is the largest economy in the world, 29 trillion out of 105 trillion. America runs all of the agencies where Jamaica love to borrow money from: World Bank, IMF, IDB, USAID, all of them. So once America cuts funding to those agencies, which is one of Trump's priorities, it affects the whole world.
Have you heard any plans from the Jamaican government to combat those?
No, them say them have to wait and see. I don't know what them have to wait and see for.
What's his name again? Rubio.
Marco Rubio, Secretary of State. Yeah.
Right. Said that America is going to cancel visas for foreign ministers and officials from countries who participate in the Cuban medical assistance. How will that affect Jamaica?
That is going to affect Jamaica. So they have to take a Caribbean position led by me and Motley. Don't expect andrewholness to lead that. You have to get me and Motley to lead them today. It will affect Jamaica badly. So we're short of nurses and we rely a lot on Cuban nurses.
And we're short of doctors.
Yeah, man. I rely a lot on the Cuban.
But why is America so up in arms? But Rubio is a Cuban expatriate.
Yeah, man. So naturally he would be pushing that line. Naturally, they will be pushing that line.
But that line affects the people who lives in Cuba still, Ralston.
Yeah, but I'm not business with that. I'm not business with that, you know.
The recession, I have to come back to the recession, Ralston, because I said this on a radio station the other day. I have one little fool friend call me and ask me, I'm going to see if I can ask me, what are my fears of the government not accepting that there is a recession? Because I mentioned that in 2008, it was the very same thing when there was the world recession, and this GLP administration said that it would not affect Jamaica, hence not moving fast enough to deal with the situation. And the same thing is happening again, where they are denying that we are in a recession, and I am saying that there's a fear that we might crash the economy. Is there a possibility that if we don't address this recession now, it can crash this economy?
Clearly, remember they crashed the economy. Wayne was a part of that team that crashed the economy. AVI-NUE was a part of the team that crashed the economy. Dennis Chung was a part of the team that crashed the economy. Bruce Golden was a part of the team that crashed the economy. And that is why them try to cancel that part of the history. In 2008, them tell people, Ed Bartlett, AVI-NUE, Ardisha, tell the people that the Great Recession would help Jamaica. Bruce Golden said going to the IMF was neither necessary nor appropriate. As a result of that, them take long for God the IMF. While the man negotiated the IMF November 9, 2009, them fired Central Bank Governor Derek Latty, but they're the only man who knew anything about IMF. And then them got IMF take a full agreement, a standby agreement, when them needed an extended fund facility agreement. And then couldn't live up to the terms and conditions and were locked out of the international capital market.
Right.
And that is why Bush and Peter have a big part them me to bring back Jamaica 147% debt to GDP, fiscal deficit 7.5, original debt of overall public sector deficit 10.75, current account deficit 18%. That is how Bush and Peter have the rest of the country, and then hand it over to them, and them come on attack and make it look like them do it. Yeah. That's the same thing will happen if them don't move to deal with the problem, because Trump is going to inflate the international economy. Interest rates is going to remain high. The other countries are going to impose their own tariffs. Production is going to slow down, and you'll have another great recession.
And that is my fear, Ralston, because
yeah, man.
As we always been saying, if you're sick and you don't admit it, you're going to be in more danger than if you admit that you are sick and go look help. This government is telling the people of Jamaica that we are okay. And
no,
we are
that's the
not.
same thing I said in 2009.
Exactly. That's the point I have been making to people, you know.
No,
this is deja vu. Happened already. So, Ralston.
Same thing anyway, when I put the cement in it, we do what you want, or the cement is.
You see, my people, those of us who have eyes to see and we are seeing, we can't just sit down and be silent. Those of us
tell the people. That is why we're talking now. We have to make the people know where we're going.
Right, but then you have some fools. I mean, I call them fools this morning. And dunce who, because of political expediency, and they don't want the GLP to look bad, they will not admit that we are in trouble.
Yeah, man.
But how do we get out of this, Ralston?
Well, you can't get out of it without education. And if them don't want to do what you're supposed to do, then the people have to do what they're supposed to do to improve their life, which means that you have to get rid of them if they want to continue with the same falsehood. So if them want to continue in denial, yeah?
Mm-hmm. Then we are going to feel the pangs of hell. My brother.
Yeah, if they want to continue in denial, then the people just have to do what they have to do to improve their life to get rid of them. Because if the thing deteriorates, which is all going to happen, because we saw all of the markets in the world tumble yesterday. US stock market tumble, European stock market tumble, Asian stock market tumble, because Trump says tariff will come from Mexico and Canada next week. Trump said tariff on China. Trump said 25% tariff on the European Union. So the whole world involved. European Union is 22 trillion. America is 29 trillion. China is 18 trillion. Canada is 2.5 trillion. Mexico is a trillion and change. The world economy is 105 trillion. Jamaica only 25 billion.
25
so
billion.
They don't know about international economics. Yes. So Jamaica is 25 billion out of 105 trillion dollars.
So if we don't start doing something about this now.
Yeah, and it's something that we must do is to fix energy policy, fix the food policy, diversify our trading partners, look more towards the BRICS, and stop depending on America.
What was the food bill, Ralston, last year? How much? You mentioned it earlier.
Food and consumer bill last year was 1.8 billion. This year it looked like 2 billion. So apart from the food that come out of the ground, you talk about the consumer goods, the thing them we import from Trinidad and all of them stuff there.
How much you say we import already?
We got 1.6039 billion already.
We import
for the first 11 months of last year.
So this government has actually increased the food importation bill by 100%.
Because I'm not interested in agriculture. No, yes, I'm not interested in agriculture.
But
agriculture, yeah. During the time when we have the recession, the agricultural sector dropped by 25.5%. You know? Remember that. Agriculture dropped by 25.5% in 6 months.
And we're blaming Beryl. But Ralston, wasn't Grenada more devastated by Beryl more than Jamaica?
Correct, and Grenada grew by 3.7%. All of the other Caribbean countries affected by Beryl. And the lowest growth rate rather in the Caribbean was Grenada at 3.7%. Barbados 3.9%. St. Vincent and Grenadines 6%. Dominican Republic 6.1%. Yeah.
Andrewholness said that we have a resilient economy. Yet they are blaming Beryl for what them call it a downturn in the economy. They're blaming Beryl.
Downturn, recession, there's no difference.
But Grenada, and I'm using because I think Grenada was the hardest hit country in the Caribbean by Beryl.
Yeah, man.
Grenada
grew by 3.7%.
There you go. So explain that to me. The GLP
that is simple. The Jamaican economy has not been resilient. The Jamaican economy is like you drive your car. And for 10 miles, the car has slowed down. When you tell you about 10 consecutive quarters of deceleration.
Yes.
For every quarter that the Jamaican economy recovered, it was slower and slower and slower and slower.
Until
so you drive your car shut down by you still drive it and tell yourself, the car is still good until it stops.
And no, it never just stop. It start run back down the hill.
Yeah, run back down over the hill.
It start run back down the hill by 3.5% in one quarter and 1.8 in another quarter.
Precisely.
And they are saying that... Go ahead.
Yeah. So while Nigelclark was not telling about the economy was a growth, the rate of recovery was slowing. Him and him apologists, Dennis Chung and Damian King and Christian Stokes are telling people, all kind of lie about things good. The economy was reversing. The rate of economic recovery was slowing down and slowing down and slowing down. And then keep on telling the people that everything good. That's why them shame now to acknowledge that we're in a recession.
Dr. Wayne
says, oh, that tells everything good. Oh, that tells the car good if you have your mechanic. You don't say to the mechanic, so you tell me the car good and the car slow down for me. What kind of mechanic you are? All of them are charlatans.
Dr. Wayne Henry said that he's predicting growth in the first quarter of 2025. What say Ralston Hyman?
0.5, 0 to 0.0, 0 to 0.1%. That is rubbish. That is statistically insignificant.
That's what he's predicting?
Yeah, man.
Hold on. That is the growth that Dr. Wayne Henry is predicting for the first quarter?
0 to 1. Yeah, 0 to 1%. Yeah. Yep. And by the way, the budget numbers tell you that over the next 5 years from now until 2029, the rate of growth is 1% per annum. So the Jamaican people know them life now will improve. 1% per annum is statistically insignificant. And without that happen because they're not factor in what is taking place internationally with Donald Trump's economic policy.
Because they're not talking about that.
Right.
No conversation has started about that
1%, so you can imagine when that hit. The Jamaican people's life not going to improve. 1% per annum for the next 5 years. Can you imagine that?
And that is not Ralston Hyman figure.
No, that is what is in the budget numbers. People can go and look in the national, the debt management strategy, the economic forecast.
The forecast for growth for the next 5 years is 1%.
Right, and that comes over the signature of Favor Williams, Minister of Finance and Financial Secretary. Yeah?
And that means if we're looking to grow 1%, any little shock will have us running back again.
And they have not factored in the shocks that will come from Donald Trump's policy.
Right.
Yep. So Darlene Morrison, the Financial Secretary, and Favor Williams, the Finance Minister, signed that document, the medium-term debt management strategy. So we advise the Dunsend people, go and read them to them before you come and talk about economics. Because all the people that come chat and them not read nothing. They might give for them own thing. We give the official figures from the government of Jamaica.
But Ralston,
that's for them figures.
Ralston, if the prediction for growth in the first quarter is 0.05%, wouldn't we still be in a recession actually?
Of course. Technically, of course. Not change. And then I'm saying to you, them say for the next 5 years, you only grow by 1% per annum. And that does not involve the shock to the international economy that will flow from Donald Trump's policies. So the people of Jamaica can say them life now going to improve.
And
1%, even if you got 1%, that couldn't help you.
And does that include salary increase for civil servants who are saying, I think one of the unions said that them not taking not 2 or 3% this time around?
That is going to be a big problem, whoever is in government. So when the PNP comes, they have to deal with that problem. They can't Monday they have to pay a big salary bill. Yeah, so that is going to be a big problem. Yeah.
So was that calculated in the growth that they were talking about?
Yeah. Them never calculate for paying a salary increase. So that is why you have all of this tying out where people can't get their money. And that will be handed over to the next administration because there's no money there to pay any big salary increases. The salary bill is $460 billion. That is 39% of the budget. That's totally unaffordable. Yeah, so it's a problem that the next administration have to focus on too. Because you have to face that.
Whoa.
Yep.
So
yeah, right now we're stuck this up. Yep.
So
there cannot be any big public sector wage increase.
So we're looking in the barrel of a shotgun.
Yeah, man. Yep. Next government is royally set up. That's the first thing they have to focus on, the wage bill. Yeah? You have to go beg the money for old trade again until they can move the economy.
Rotted.
I think the people have more confidence in another government because the way this them now have no confidence in them. So that is why you have the whole industrial dispute that take place left, right, and center in the public sector right now.
But why are we having so much of that after Nigel-Clark same deal with
because Nigel-Clark made the people in promises and then there's no money to afford it now. Simple. Faval can't afford it. We made all kind of promises and then Faval can't afford it. And the people are now sympathetic because the man himself will take so much for himself already. So
yes.
No left nothing for we.
Because that's what the doctor said last week. That
yeah, man, them not no confidence in them,
get no retroactive money, we don't get ours. Why we don't get our retroactive money?
Yeah, man.
Ralston, I realize you're up on some work and I do some
things.
So,
you see it, brother. So
I now keep you no longer, my brother, but thanks for the update and we'll keep in touch, my brother. One love.
Yeah, man. And tell the people them say go and read the budget book them, the debt management strategy, the revenue estimates and them to them before them can comment intelligently by anything right.
But I tell them, Ralston, some of the things you can Google them. You have AI chat and all of them things.
Yeah, man.
Google some of the things them for yourself and stop make people turning in a clown.
Yeah,
people
man.
Who are
so them can go up on the BOJ website every day and them say the BOJ's activities in terms of borrowing money and floating money. Because BOJ borrow money on behalf of the government.
Yes.
So tell them go up on the BOJ website and them can see everything for themselves.
And when some man will say them a doctor this and professor that come out and put them reputation out there, we are going to lick it where. We are going to lick it where and call them Jumbi. Dopey story.
What the most malign thing right now, a doctorate and professorship. Yep.
All right, my brother. Big up yourself.
All right, brother.
Happy
Bless
Sabbath.
Yeah, man.
One love.
Yeah, man. Bless it.
8047.
As you can hear in my people, that is all for now we know. What is your thoughts and views on all of this? Leave it in the comment section below and let us have that discussion. Yes, my people, please like and share and subscribe to the channel. Out and now, catch you in the next one.